स्टडी IQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Namaste. Just after the successful completion of the G20 summit, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, made an official visit to Prime Minister Modi as well as to President Murmu. Now, this is an historic and an important official visit because this is the second official visit of Mohammed bin Salman to India. Now, previously, he had made a visit in February 2019, after which PM Modi visited Saudi Arabia in October of 2019. In the year 2020, Saudi Arabia held the presidency of G20, and in these all previous meetings, there was a push towards strengthening the bilateral ties between India and Saudi Arabia. Now, after the successful completion of India's presidency of G20 in 2023, the bilateral meeting held a lot of potential, and there was a lot of important highlights that were discussed as part of this meeting. So let us go over what exactly was discussed. The first was, of course, energy, economics and beyond. Now, first point was about the Strategic Partnership Council that was established in 2019. But the first meeting took place today, that is part of the bilateral meeting. Now, there are two committees in the Strategic Council. One is the Committee of Economy and Investment Partnership, and the second committee is on political security, social and cultural ties. And both the committees, as part of the council, both MBS, that is Mohammed bin Salman, and PM Modi both had a fruitful conversation on these two, as well as they talked about how to promote the bilateral ties between them as per these two verticals. The second thing that was talked about was a comprehensive energy partnership. Now, Saudi Arabia is slowly transitioning to non-renewable energy as well as decreasing its dependency on petrodollars coming out from oil. Now, in this, it needs partners, and India is one of the strongest partners it can find in its neighborhood. Now, India is not only the second largest economic partner of Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia is the fourth largest economic partner to India as well. And in this, they are able to find synergies where they can both explore and move away from this oil dependency of Saudi Arabia. So as part of the comprehensive energy partnership, now they are talking about transitioning to renewable energy. In this slide, they did talk about the International Solar Alliance as well as the Global Biofuel Alliance that was announced as part of the G20. The third thing that was talked about is the investment in National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. Now, this fund is basically in India, working for projects in India, but Saudi Arabia is interested to invest in this fund and through which certain projects in India. But this has been in discussions for some time. But now going forward, Saudi Arabia has announced that it is going to route all its funding to India and the projects in India through this fund. Moving on, there was also a discussion on the economic corridor. Now, this has been hogging highlights from the G20 day one of the summit. Why? Because this has been seen as an alternative to China's BRI. The corridor is India Middle East Economic Corridor, starting from India, that is Mumbai, moving on to UAE, then crisscrossing across Saudi Arabia via a railway route, then reaching Israel. Now, Israel is a very important and an interesting component of this corridor because this signals normalizing of relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel. In Israel, from the Haifa port, then the shipping corridor will enter into Piraeus, which is a port in Greece, then opening up to the European market. Now, this is, of course, an alternative. Why? Because China has a hold in Djibouti, which is going to be very important as the trade keeps flowing through Suez Canal. Now, this is very close to the Bab el-Mandab choke point, as well as Suez Canal is becoming more and more crowded. Egypt is, of course, looking at a new Suez Canal project, but that is going to take some time. And with China's dominance in this region, the partners of India, US, UAE, as well as Saudi Arabia, they are all thinking about this new economic corridor. Now, as per the bilateral meeting between India and Saudi Arabia, both the parties accepted that within 60 days of the summit, they are all going to send their representatives and actually work upon implementing this idea of the corridor. Moving on, the third thing that we are going to talk about, but before that, I just want to highlight about the prelims to interview course, which is starting on 11th of September. The price of the course is 70,000 rupees, but if you use the code DWLIVE, the course is going to immediately get discounted and you're going to get it at 29,999 rupees. Now, the next thing that has happened is the media oasis. On the sidelines of the G20 summit, Saudi Arabia hosted a media oasis wherein certain features of what it is transitioning to, as in a non-oil economy, like building of the new city of NEOM. Now, this is something that Saudi Arabia has been promoting to not only get investment, but also to get partners in actualizing its Vision 2030. Now, as per this Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia is also talking about how it is going to lead the GCC away from the oil dependency. India, that is, according to Prime Minister Modi, he has said that Vision 2030 is becoming an actuality in real life, and India is excited to partner in realizing Vision 2030. Apart from this, the Global Initiative on Digital Health was also discussed. Now, this digital health initiative was, talked about or discussed under the Saudi Arabian presidency itself. But soon after, Saudi Arabia took some steps. For example, it started a Seha virtual hospital in February 2022. And it started looking for partners, especially India, because India is well known for its medical tourism. There are many patients who come from the GCC, from Afghanistan, and across the Middle East to India for their treatment. Now, because of this, Saudi Arabia is looking at India as a partnership for the digital health, and India, as part of its G20 presidency, had actually talked about and promoted digital health as well. So again, this is one alliance that Saudi Arabia and India are ready to come together for. Now, these are certain highlights that have happened in the meeting between Mohammed bin Salman, that's the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and PM Modi, that is the Prime Minister of India. Now, apart from all of this, there was also an understanding that India and Saudi Arabia are going to be one of the closest partners, especially for the security and stability of the region. This has serious implications on Saudi Arabia and Pakistan relations, because slowly Saudi Arabia is moving and seeing India as a strategic partner. This is going to have a lot of implications on the regional politics. With this, we come to an end to today's discussion. Thank you.
Study IQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।